Chicago Sky, y'all stink, bro. Y'all, look, there's trash and then there's trash. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, the Chicago Sky got destroyed by the stud buds. Everybody watches the stud buds. Shout out to Courtney Williams and Tisha Heiderman, man. Listen, stud buds stood on business today. Nafisa Collier stood on business today. They destroyed the Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese handed out 9 turnovers like she was hosting a giveaway special you get a ball. You get a ball. Meanwhile, the stud buds didn't just arrive, they put on a show, turning the court into a stand-up set. This wasn't basketball. It was a live-action blooper reel. If you've ever wanted to see what happens when swagger crashes headfirst into mayhem, this game was your front row ticket to the roast.
He's had 9 turnovers. Yo, listen, y'all got to stop with this point forward foolishness, man. Let's take a look, man. Hold on, man. Y'all be wildin'. Y'all be wildin', son.
Averaging 16 points per game against the Lynx this season.
Bruh, come on, man. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop, yo. Y'all gotta stop.
1 turnover away from a triple-double, you read that right. Angel Reese was flirting with history, but not the kind you celebrate with banners or bronze. This was the kind you quietly erase from the record books and hope no one screenshots. 9 turnovers. That's not a stat line, it's a cry for help. She was out there dishing the ball like she'd started a charity for defenders in need. Here, take it. You look like you could use a highlight.
The entire WNBA and Angel Reese in garbage time. We saw it. Angel Reese last year against the Fever with like 2 minutes to go. She needed to I think it was like 6 points and 3 rebounds, and she went and caught like 2 rebounds and then immediately goes at Victoria Saxton 3 times.
At this point, the only explanation that makes sense is the coaching staff is in on the joke. This isn't basketball, it's performance art. A living satire of offensive schemes. Because every time they try to involve her in actual action, the paint turns into rush hour in downtown LA. You can practically hear the lane begging for mercy. She plants her feet like she's pitching a tent, and as for the pick and roll, the only thing rolling is the ball straight into the hands of the other team.
After this opponent gets close to her during a box out, grabs her by her hips, and hip tosses her, throwing her to the ground. She stands up, she walks over to this opponent, bends over, screams in her face, and flips her the double bird. That's the WNBA gold. We're going to get into it. And the laughter. Oh, Angel. Oh, my angel. You're my darling. Angel, angel, angel. You've been playing well, Angel. I give it to you. You've been playing well. But every now and then, those stinkers. Oh, man.
So, to avoid a full-blown offensive meltdown, they've gifted her the honorary title of facilitator, which is cute if this were kindergarten, not pro-level basketball. Facilitator, as in, please don't shoot, just hand it off before we all regret it. Because if she's not passing, she's bricking. If she's not bricking, she's flailing. And if she's not flailing, she's traveling both literally and spiritually to a place far, far away from the rim.
Like, there's absolutely no foul in that. She gets a good whistle, jumps up, and then goes at somebody on the other team. Who's she go at? She goes at Diamond Miller, her former Maryland teammate. And like, Angel's 1 tack off a suspension as well. And is like, anytime anyone gets into it with her, she's straight in their face. And I'm like, I don't mind that, but you just gotta be smart. To be fair, this guy sucks, so you might as well just go and take your I'll say it.
At this point, it's not just about a few bad games, it's starting to feel like a full-blown basketball cover-up. Nobody wants to say it, but everyone's thinking it. Angel Reese isn't struggling, she's just bad. Not rookie growing pains bad, why is she even on the floor bad? Garden gnomes have better footwork. Scarecrows have safer hands. And yet there she is, clogging up the offense like chewed gum jammed in a vending machine. But bench her? Never. That would mean admitting the PR campaign was smoke and mirrors all along. So she stands at the top of the key, waving her arms like she's directing traffic while teammates scramble around her like it's a fire drill. Spoiler: she's not setting anything up. The only thing she's orchestrating is another clip for the blooper reel and the ball. is going somewhere all right, just usually into enemy hands.
But she was turning her season around. Just when I thought Angel Reese was graduating from pretend basketball player to make-believe basketball player, the level where it's almost believable that Angel Reese is a basketball player. Just when I thought Angel Reese would pull through in the clutch and do America a favor. With a win last night against the Minnesota Lynx, Angel Reese would have become the most popular player in the WNBA dunk. Well, Casey, that's simply not possible. Caitlin Clark will always be the most popular player in the WNBA.
And the worst part? You can actually see her teammates adjusting to her limitations in real time. Watch the spacing, watch how they hesitate to cut anywhere near her. Like she's a black hole where plays go to die. Nobody wants to be the next victim of a wild pass, a mistimed screen, or an accidental self-dribble off the foot. They're not running an offense, they're defusing a live grenade. This isn't chemistry. It's survival mode. And the irony is brutal. All that talk about leadership, grit, and championship DNA, and Reese has become the anchor dragging the whole ship down, not in a steadying, stabilizing way, but in a we're sinking and nobody packed a life vest kind of way. 9 turnovers isn't a growing pain, it's a full-blown basketball identity crisis. Standing in the dunker spot while your teammates getting swarmed isn't spacing, it's obstruction. At this point, the only thing Reese is facilitating is fast breaks for the other team. She's not a playmaker, she's a plot twist. And not the kind you cheer.
Why people are defending this? Let's get into it. Nneka Ogwumike, she gets up, proceeds to get boxed out, unable to move her opponent out of the way. Nneka Ogwumike retaliates, grabs her by the hips, throws her to the floor, stands over her, screams on her, flips her the double bird. Quinterly, Dallas Wings teammate, being a good teammate, gets in the middle of the two, pushes Nneka out of the way like a good teammate should. Instead of saying, Nneka, come here, let me get you a hug. No, get up off my teammate, girl. Get up off my teammate. Nneka Ogwumike can't let it go.
You know it's bad when opposing teams want her to have the ball when they start baiting her like she's the weak link in a chain fence. You can almost hear the other coach whisper from the sideline, let her cook, fully aware the meal's raw, the oven's broken, and the kitchen is already on fire. And don't even get started on her transition defense. Watching her jog back after a turnover feels like watching someone try to run in flip-flops. There's motion, technically, but it's all for show. Her body language says it all. Frustration without urgency, intensity without direction, vibes without results. Which brings us right back to the coaching staff. They know. They have to know. You don't trip over this many offensive breakdowns and think, yeah, let's double down. This isn't development, it's denial with a game plan. She's being used as a decoy dressed up as potential. While everyone prays, no one checks the box score too closely. Meanwhile, the charade rolls on. Press conferences filled with vague praise, highlight reels that conveniently cut just before the turnover, and a narrative held together with duct tape and hope.
Telling you, with a win last night, Angel Reese would have surpassed the Rue from Waterloo in popularity. Now, I am not saying that her dozens of aliases would have passed Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese herself, she definitely would have. Going into the game last night, Cheryl Reed, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, she told the doofus duo who refer to themselves as stud buds, she told them if they lost this game to the Chicago Bravado, they would no longer be allowed to stream on Twitch.
The whole operation has become a masterclass in selective editing. Frame the narrative just right, and maybe people will forget the score. Forget that the team got blown out while their so-called star tripped over her own momentum. Meanwhile, the players who can shoot, who do move, who actually know the shot clock exists, they're being sacrificed on the altar of brand management. Because this isn't about winning anymore, it's about saving face. About not admitting the hype train went off the rails. And that's the real tragedy. Angel Reese didn't ask to be overhyped. But now she's stuck starring in a performance where the real triple-double is hype, delusion, and denial. Too many people get hypnotized by box scores, see a double-double, and act like she served up a 30-piece, triple-baked filet mignon. But if you actually watch the game eyes open, brain engaged, you'd see it for what it is. Not dominance, but chaos. Sloppy, disengaged, overcooked chaos. Reese's stat lines are clickbait, loud, dramatic, and almost entirely misleading.
Lads, Angel Reese is currently about to be suspended. She has 7 technical fouls on the season. And if this was last season, in a 44-game season, she would have already been suspended. And it is genuinely one of the funny things about this is that her fans are arguing that none of the techs are warranted. They are all warranted.
Because here's the deal, yes, Angel Reese racks up rebounds. But let's be honest, half of them are just the result of chasing down her own misses. Self-assisted rebounds should be their own column in the box score. Grabbing your own airball isn't hustle, it's janitorial work with a headband. And those points, bless those points. Most of the time they're born from desperation, as the team force feeds her the ball like she's Shaq, only for her to finish like her controller just disconnected mid-possession. Watching it unfold is like witnessing someone try to jam a square peg into a round hoop, frantic, stubborn, and increasingly tragic. Every shot is a roll of the dice, every possession a slow-motion disaster. And yet, through sheer volume alone, she stumbles her way to 10 points, like clockwork. The ball leaves her hands with the naive optimism of a toddler throwing glitter, hopeful, chaotic, and destined to make a mess. Meanwhile, opposing defenders don't even contest anymore. You can almost hear them mutter, "Thanks," as she fires another visionary pass straight into a swarm of jerseys that don't match hers.
Angel Reese, the most toxic player in all of basketball, is out here slapping clipboards out of her coaching staff's hand because she's so mad her team committed a foul in the crunch after she shot 15 free throws this game. This is the lowest of the low disrespect that you can show to your coaching staff. She trying to get y'all locked in, worried about the next play, and you so toxic with your terrible, awful attitude that you slap the clipboard out of her.
And somehow she's still being pushed as the face of the league. The question is, which face exactly? Because if we're being honest, she's more like the poster child for what not to do. Want to learn how to run a clean pick and roll? Don't watch Angel. Curious about defensive positioning? Close that tutorial. Need a masterclass on how to kill all momentum with one ill-timed drive into a wall of 4 defenders? Congrats, you found your guru. It's almost impressive how she's turned basketball into avant-garde performance art titled, "How to Drain an Offense Without Touching the Ball for 3 Straight Possessions." She stands in the paint like a forgotten statue, takes 5 full seconds to gather herself like she's prepping to fire a cannon, and when the ball does find her in the post, teammates scatter like roaches under a light because they know what's coming. Either a wild off-balance heave that somehow misses both rim and backboard, or a panic jump pass launched into the stands like a souvenir for Section H.
What's up, y'all? I just want to talk about this chick, Angel Reese, for a second. She has been all over my timeline, over my Twitter, or X, Instagram, TikTok. She's always pushing people and this and that. She's always in controversy. So let me address this situation real quick. How is she a professional athlete? Like, can we step back for a second and just analyze this situation? How in the world is this chick a professional athlete? She is, out of all the clips that I've seen, she is the worst basketball player I've ever seen.
But the narrative keeps rolling. She had 14 and 12 and committed a war crime against ball movement in the process. It's not hard to rack up stats when you're logging over 30 minutes and the offense flows through you like spoiled milk in a busted blender. At some point, the numbers stop mattering when the eye test is screaming, "This ain't it." Because there's a real difference between impact and inflation. One helps you win, the other just pads the box score so the blowout doesn't look as ugly on paper. Reese lives firmly in the latter. Her game is the basketball version of empty calories filling at first glance, but ultimately useless. You think she's feasting, but really, it's just a plate of styrofoam stats served with a side of hot air. And then there's the attitude. The celebrations after a basic layup while her team's down 20, the trash talk after a free throw like the scoreboard isn't flashing an emergency signal. It's like watching someone throw a birthday party on the Titanic, self-awareness not detected. Swagger is electric when it's backed by production. But when you're throwing up bricks like a one-woman construction crew, the flexing crosses over into comedy. She moves with the confidence of a seasoned vet but plays like someone who just discovered the game through TikTok drills and motivational quotes.
Some comments about Angel Reese.
Yeah.
You called her garbage compared to Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Yes, I love black people. Mwah, 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 mwah. But I think sometimes we do play the race card too much. This ain't racial. This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel